My pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. I welcome one and all for today's session of Brahma Sutra. Today, we are taking up the last pada, the fourth pada or fourth section of Brahma Sutra. This fourth section is focused on the mukti or liberation of a jnani. So last section, pada 3, was focused on the liberation or mukti of a upasaka jiva. So what happens for a jnani, a jivan mukta, is the topic for today's discussion. Let us start contemplation on pada 4 of Brahma Sutra. So chapter 4 is about liberation. Chapter 4, pada 4. Chapter 4 is about liberation. The fourth pada is about liberation or mukti of a jnani. So nature of liberation is the Sutra 534. Let us offer our pranams to Narayana. Narayanam namaskatya naram chaiva narottamam devi saraswati vyasam tato jayamudire sadashiva samarambam shankaracharya madhyamam asmadacharya paryantam vande guru paramparam shruti smriti purananam alayam karunalayam namami bhagavat padam shankaram lokashankaram. So chapter 4 of Brahma Sutra is about liberation, mukti. So there are three types of jiva discussed. Adnani, one who is ignorant of his own nature, will go through cycle of birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani yatrishayam. For a upasaka, he will do upasana, meditation. Then he will take birth in Brahma Loka or Ishtadevata Loka, Vishnu, Devi, Shiva, whichever Loka he is doing upasana. It's called Brahma Loka. Then he'll get, after that he studies there Jnana, Atma Jnana, Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa. Then he'll get mukti there, called Krama Mukti. Finally, liberation. So this we have discussed in the pada 3, section 3. Now we are coming to section 4. What will happen to a jnani? What exactly is the meaning of liberation? So jnani will get, when he is born, he'll get Atma Jnana. Then he becomes Brahma Jnana he gets. Then he becomes Jivan Mukta, liberated while he is alive. So then, after the time of death, he will become Videha Mukta. He will become free from cycle of birth and death. This is what we discussed. Today, the topic of discussion is about Jnani. So let us study Sutra 534. This is called Sampadya Virbhavadikaranam. So Sampadya Virbhavadikaranam, what it means, what it says is a liberated soul, a Jivan Mukta, does not acquire anything new. It only manifests its inherent nature. Its true nature is manifested. It doesn't acquire anything new. So let us start. Om Athato Brahma Jidnasa Om. Om Sampadya Avirbhava Svena Shabdat Om. So the meaning of this sutra is when Jiva attains liberation, an ignorant person or Jiva attains liberation, there is a manifestation of own nature. It is not an acquisition of anything new. So this is understood by Svena, means own, Shabda in Upanishad. let us understand the meaning of this sutra. So there is a shloka in Chandogya Upanishad, and what happens during mukti is described in a shloka. That Gnani is serene and happy being. He rises from the body, having attained the highest light, reaches its own form. This is the meaning. This is the sutra. This is the shloka in Chandogya Upanishad 8.3.4. Gnani has become serene and happy being after rising from the body, having the highest light, reaches his own form. This is the sutra. So now Purvapakshi says, reaches means, when they use the word reach means something to be reached. So Gnani gets something at the time of liberation. Something newly he gets. That's why it's called reaches. So that means what he had earlier, with respect to that, something new will come to him. A new status is acquired. So the Purvapakshi gives some example. So if I don't have money, I work hard, I get money. Something I have to get. So Adnani, he doesn't have liberation or moksha. So he'll work, he'll do karma yoga, upasana, and jnana yoga. After doing so much, he must be getting something. That's why Upanishad is saying he reaches. There's a phala. Phala means whatever sadhana he has done. The phala of the sadhana is mukti, liberation. So mukta reaches a status of consciousness higher than jiva. So he reaches something. That's the meaning of that. Then also he'll come back and say, if after liberation the status doesn't change, then what is the difference? He is also bondage. Before bondage and liberation, there should be some difference, no? Otherwise, what is the point of something called liberation or mukti? There's no point. So now, here there's a catch. If we accept the viewpoint of Purvapakshi, then mukti or liberation becomes a gain. I got mukti, I got liberation. Okay, is a gain. The problem with the gain is what you gain will lose also. The principle of nature, the birth. If you are born, you are bound to die. If you are happy, you are bound to be unhappy. Always life is a duality. If you gain something, you lose something also. Mukti also you gained, liberation you gained, then you lose after some time. So that's not a permanent thing. It's a temporary thing. If you accept Purvapakshi's argument, mukti becomes temporary. Then there is another argument also is there. Before liberation and after liberation, there's no status change. Then who is interested in mukti? Who is interested in liberation? It's all same status continuing. Anybody does anything in life, if there is some gain, no, some positive gain is required. Otherwise, he will not do anything. Without the positive gain, nobody will do anything. Why do you do something? Why will you do karma yoga? Why will you do upasana? Why will you do jnana yoga? I should get something. People will lose interest in mukti. Purvapakshi says, if you don't accept my argument, then people will have no interest in mukti, liberation, because mukti means I have to get something big. So this is the argument of Purvapakshi. Very valid argument. Seeker, any seeker is interested in getting something. I should get some mukti after that. If you say my status doesn't change, then what is the point of all this Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, the study of Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Upasana? There must be some difference. Siddhanti says that's not true. If I accept your argument, mukti becomes a temporary thing. I'll get something today, tomorrow I lose it. Upanishads are not saying mukti is a temporary thing. Mukti is not what you get. Mukti is what you are. The liberation is what you are already. You are already liberated. There's no bondage. The bondage was the illusion. The illusion, getting rid of illusion is called mukti. So getting rid of illusion is not a gain. Suppose you see a snake on the rope. You are scared. You are afraid. Okay. Then you realize there's no snake on the rope. Snake on the rope was the illusion. Only rope was there. You didn't gain anything. In between, you are afraid because of illusion. The bondage of samsara is a fear created out of illusion. That illusion only will go. The reality does not change. If the illusion is snake goes, rope will be there always. Rope also always there earlier also, now also, it will be there in the future also. In between, I got into illusion. What is illusion? There is a snake. That created fear in me. Only that fear will go, the illusion will go. But rope doesn't go. Rope is always there. Similarly, the liberation is already there. You are already liberated. There's no bondage for you. The illusion of bondage is superimposed on you. Like a rope, a snake is superimposed on rope. That only will go. So this is the Siddhanti's view. So he says, Siddhanti says, the Upanishad says, he reaches light, he reaches the highest light, attains the highest light, and reaches his own form. The jiva reaches his own form. It doesn't say reaches something else. Own form is reached. That means whatever is there in you, which was naturally there, is reached. It's not that something else will get. So what it means, he rises from the body. Rises from the body, we'll start imagining something will come out of the body. Rises from the body means there is an identification of the body earlier. I'm the body, I'm the mind, I'm the intellect. That identification is dropped. It's not rising from the body, means physically coming out of the body. Rising from the body means rising from the identification of the body. So there are three identifications that are called that. Identification of the gross body is called Vishwa. Identification of the subtle body is called Taijasa. Identification of the causal body is called Pradna. So Jiva realizes, I'm not the gross body, I'm not the subtle body, I'm not the causal body. Through Nitya Anitya Viveka, it doesn't physically move somewhere because Atma is infinite. The self is infinite. Infinite self cannot move anywhere. So rising means only coming out of wrong identification. I'm the body, I'm the mind, I'm the intellect. So then he merges with reaches the highest light. So the merger to happen, Atma is already infinite. Infinite cannot merge with something. A river can merge with the ocean because the river is finite. Atma is already infinite. Atma cannot merge with anything. Atma only can recognize itself. Oh, I am infinite. So then, is there a change happening? If you say mukti is gained, then mukti will be lost also. It's not possible to have a permanent, temporary thing, gain. The Jiva was Brahman before merger, before that realization. During realization is Brahman, after realization is Brahman. Like rope was a rope before you found a snake. When you found a snake, also the rope is there. When you realize that it's not a snake, then also rope is there. Rope has not changed at all. Jiva was Brahman before realization. During realization, Jiva is Brahman. After realization is Brahman. So only in between you had a confusion, illusion that rope is a snake. That's why in between there's illusion that I am the body, mind, and intellect. There's no change in the status of Jiva. Jiva was Brahman earlier also, during realization also, after realization also. In between there's an illusion of samsara because of wrong understanding. So earlier, the Jiva, or I had a wrong understanding, I am Jiva Atma separate from Paramatma, because I identify with the body. So then there is a feeling that I am bonded, I have bondage, because when I identify the body, there's a bondage of kartaham, bhoktaham, gnataham. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the knower. There's a limitation. And I always say Paramatma is mukta, Paramatma is infinite. There's no bondage for Paramatma. Is that concept that Paramatma, who is free, is there. But I am bonded, Jiva, as Jiva I am bonded, that concept is there. Illusion is there. So Jnana means only removal of this ignorance. So Jnana is removal of confusion, removal of illusion. Atma Jnana means removal of confusion, removal of illusion. It's not a new gain, because Jiva was Brahman earlier. Jiva is during Brahman or during realization. After realization, so Jiva is Brahman. So there's no status change of Jiva. Only illusion is removed. Illusion removal is not a gain. How does the Jiva become Brahman? Jiva cannot become Brahman because Jiva is already Brahman. Atma is one with Paramatma already. A wave is one with water already. Wave cannot become one with water. Wrong understanding is to correct it. How do you correct wrong understanding? The contemplating of the teaching of Vedanta, understanding the teaching of Vedanta, you can realize. What is the understanding of teaching of Vedanta? Tat Tvamasi, you are that. So Tat Tvam Asi. So there are three words. Tat means Ishvara. Tvam means Jiva. Okay, Jiva is Ishvara, is said. Now Jiva cannot be Ishvara because Jiva is limited body, mind, entity. Ishvara is all pervading entity. So we have to see, we should not see the Rudhartha, indicative meaning, the Vachyartha, words meaning of the words we should understand Rudhartha, Gudhartha, or inner meaning, or indicative meaning. Who is real I? Tam means who am I? That real I we have to find out. Then Tat means Ishvara. Who is the real Ishvara? We have to find out. So this real meaning of Ishvara, Tat, real meaning of I is one. If you understand this, that person understanding and clarity is called Mukti. Who is Tat? Ishvara. Ishvara is the entire universe is Ishvara. It's all pervading, entire universe is Ishvara. How can in the entire universe is Ishvara's appearance? The universe has sun, moon, trees, plants, planets, galaxies. So many things are there. Everything is changing. Everything is, there's a birth and death. Is there something constant in this? Everywhere there is a constant, what is called existence. Sat. Sat is Brahman. The flower exists. The tree exists. The moon exists. The sun exists. Existence aspect of the creation is called Sat Ishvara. The existence doesn't change. It will change, the forms will keep changing. The existence appears as flower. The sun appears, the existence appears as sun. The moon appears as, the existence appears as moon. The sun will be born, sun will die, but existence doesn't get born and die. So existence only appears. Appearance of existence is sun, moon, and flower. The flower is born today, die tomorrow. The existence of flower does not change. The existence is eternal. Eternal existence is called Ishvara, Brahman, Sat. Are we clear? So the confusion is created by our language, English language. We'll say flower is, the tree is, the sun is, the moon is. So what is the noun here? The flower is the noun, is an adjective. Okay. So really adjective and noun are interchanged in the language. Our language is ulta palta. Isness is the noun, existence is the noun. The flower appears, existence appears as a flower, adjective. The sun, existence appears as sun, sun is adjective. The existence is noun, noun means the substance. The substance of the universe is Ishvara, Sat. The Sat is Tat, that. Is it clear? Then Tvam means I. So I say I am. Now the shirt is not I am. Is body I am? Body is also not I am. Because in the waking state, body appears and the world appears. In the dream state, the dream body, dream world appears. In the deep sleep state, there's no body, but I am there. I am there in this state. Otherwise, I cannot be a continuous one single entity. So that I am there in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state is a reality which doesn't change. That is the real I. So that's what is that I? Is consciousness, Chit. What is your real nature? Chit. So now, Tvam means Chit or Sakshi. Sakshi who is there in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, but not affected by waking state, dream state, deep sleep state is called Chit or Sakshi, Atma. Correct? So Tattvamasi means that Atma in you, which is Chitta, is same as Sat in the universe. Tat or Sat in the universe. Because can you separate the Sat and Chit? If you separate the Sat from the Chit, then there's no Sat. Right? I have to be aware of existence. Then only existence is there. I should be conscious of that. So Sat and Chit cannot be separated. That is the meaning of Tat Tvam Asi. Sat is Chit. That is the meaning of Tattvamasi. The Sat, Chit is called Atma. Sat is called Brahman. The Atma and Brahman is one reality. So if you understand this, then the inner reality and outer reality, subject and object becomes one. There's no two. The transcendental reality and immanent reality are one. This is the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi and Sarvam Khalu is Brahma. I am Brahman. All this is Brahman. So for that, what has to be done? The meaning of Tattvamasi has to be understood through Vedanta contemplation, Shravana Manana Nidyasa. It's a clarity. Atma Jnana means clarity. Earlier, I was thinking that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. Now I have to understand I am really Chit, consciousness, which is Sakshi. The Sakshi and the world, Sat, are one. Chit and Sat is one. If Sat and Chit become one, there is Ananda because it's infinite. There's no boundary. Inner and outer reality, there's no boundary. This is the meaning of Tattvamasi. So, Upanishad is saying Atma Jnana or Brahma Jnana means clarity. You are already liberated. The rope, snake doesn't become a rope. Rope was already there. You are confused. You are confused that you are a body, mind, and intellect. So you have to understand who really you are. Tvam, who am I? And that has to be Tat Ishvara. Is this much understood clearly? So that's why there's no status change. Now, if there's no status change, why will somebody look for mukti? The answer is given. He'll be serene, peaceful, blissful. Others so right now he was disturbed. Looking at the snake, I am disturbed. But understanding there's no snake, my mind has become peaceful. That's the change of there's a feeling of peace. That's all. There's no change in the state. A snake has never become rope. Rope was always there. So that's why the concept that I'm liberated on the day people will write down, oh, that's a day he got liberated. It's false. There's no date and time for liberation. Right? Is there a date and time for liberation possible? Something which has no bondage cannot get liberated. There's an illusion. So I got liberated on this day, saying like that, the snake on the rope disappeared on the or became the rope on this day. It's an illusion. Bondage was an illusion. So I got liberated on this day is a false statement. Because I cannot get liberated. I am already liberated. Atma, the Sakshi, is already liberated. Mukta. So when will I get liberated? When will I get liberated? The question is meaningless and unreal question. Oh, one day I'll get liberated. That also is false. Either you understand already you are liberated and you have illusion that you are not liberated. Get rid of illusion. So one day I'll gain a liberation. One day I'll gain a mukti. That statement is an illusion. False. The liberation is here and now. Recognize you are already liberated, not in time. So then another thing is people say, there's a word enlightenment, liberation are confusingly used. Enlightenment means light. What kind of light is that? Flashlight, tube light, sunlight, moonlight. So light, enlightenment means clarity. The clarity which is derived through Shravana, Manana, Nityas, that's all. Right? So do you have the clarity? And I got enlightened on such and such a date at 12, exactly at 1 p.m. or exactly in the moonlight. When the moon was rising, I got enlightened. So is that, there's a meaning in that sentence, word. Because enlightenment is dropping of the ignorance. Wrong understanding going. Okay. Wrong understanding, oh, on that day I got, my wrong understanding was removed. Clarity I got, you can say. But the liberation is not in time. You are not liberated. You cannot be liberated in time because you are not in time. Mukti is not possible in time. Ajnana removal can happen in time. Right? So till 1999, I didn't know music. On 1999, I joined a music class and my music ignorance got removed. There is a time and date for removal of ignorance, but there's no time and date for liberation. Liberation is you are already liberated. The enlightenment means clarity. Is this clear? So the question of the Purvakshi is clear. Serene and happy, the Upanishad says, serene, peaceful, and happy being, after rising from the body, attains the highest light, reaches its own form. This is the Chandogya Upanishad. So Purvapakshi comes, reaches means there must be some gain is required. So liberation, he should get some new status. Okay. It's something newly acquired status because of following reason. One is moksha is not attained after karma yoga, upasana, jnana yoga. So there's a phala. Moksha is the result of this. If there's no result, why will somebody do anything? Everybody does for, I want a result. So if moksha is not a new status, there's no difference between the one who is bonded and one is liberated. So then what is the point? Bondage and liberation doesn't make a difference. So the Purvapakshi says there must be some change in the status. A Gnani means some change in the status. So now, if you accept Purvapakshi's view, then we are in trouble because liberation becomes time bound. Liberation happens in time. So what you gain in time, you lose in time. It is dependent on time. So liberation is not gained in time. Okay. Seeker is interested in getting something new. Otherwise, he will not do something. No, there's no new gain at all. He will find, if you look at the world, his own form, means he attains his own nature. So the first answer, Siddhanti says, no, that's not true. We will not accept your view. Reaching something is not possible for Sakshi because Sakshi is already pervading, all pervading, infinite. So Sakshi cannot go anywhere and reach something. One form means not a new gain. Ignorance that I am Vishwa, I am Taijasa, I am Pradna, I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper is dropped. So then what do you recognize? I am Turiya is recognized. It's an intellectual clarity. Adnana is there in the intellect. Jnana is there also in intellect. My ignorance of physics is also in the intellect. My jnana that physics is there also in the intellect. So Atma, there is no change. Sakshi, there is no change. So merger like river merging with the ocean is not possible because Sakshi is infinite. So Jiva is with one with Brahman before merger, during merger, and after merger. So that's question of merger. So this is not an event. We cannot say this day it merged. So what is merger means? I had wrong understanding that I am Jivatma, separate from Paramatma. Paramatma is Mukta, liberated, infinite. I am Jivatma, I am bonded. So now this ignorance goes only when you understand Tattvamasi clearly. Tat means Sat. Tvam means Sakshi, Ishvara, Jiva, Chit. Chit and Sat are one. You cannot separate Chit and Sat. So Lakshartha has to be understood. The inner meaning has to be understood. Rudhartha has to be understood. Gudhartha, you should not get trapped by the external meaning. Otherwise, Jiva is Ishvara doesn't make any sense. So in the case of rope and snake analogy, rope does not change with or without superimposition of snake. Whether snake is superimposed or not, rope doesn't change. So Atma or Sakshi, nothing has happened. No change will happen. Waking state comes, goes. Dream state comes, goes. Deep sleep state comes and goes. Nothing has happened to Atma, you. So that's why I say Atma Darshanam, Brahma Darshanam, Brahma Darshanam, Satya Darshanam. Okay, Atma Darshana means to know I am the Atma. Atma is Sakshi. Sakshi is Chit. Atma Darshanam, Brahma Darshanam. Brahma means Sat, existence. Sat and Chit are one. Is called Satya Darshanam, to know the truth. Atma Darshanam, Brahma Darshanam, Satya Darshanam. So only superimposition is removed. So this, I want to give an example of Kunti and Karna. You heard the story of Kunti. Kunti had a child before her marriage. So the child, afraid of the society, she drops the child, puts the child in a basket and leaves the child in the river. The child grows and becomes Karna. So Kunti has 6 children. Karna was the eldest. 5 Pandavas are the younger ones. Dharmaraya, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, they are the younger children. The eldest brother is Karna. So Karna was grown up in a family of lower caste. He grows with the inferiority complex throughout his life. Oh, I am born in a lower caste. Okay, he has the power of a Kshatriya because he is born with the genes or blood of a Kshatriya. He is quite sharp or quite powerful. But he is grown in the family of a lower caste. So everybody looks down upon him. So he grows with the inferiority. Till what time? He grows up to the age of, let's say, 100 years. Mahabharata, what happens when Karna is something like 100, 105 years. Till that age, he is growing with the inferiority that I am born in a lower caste family. So, but just before Mahabharata war, Kunti wants to protect other 5 children, other Pandavas, younger brothers. She goes and talks to Karna, says, you are not born in lower caste family, you are my first son. I dropped you in the river. You are really a Kshatriya. Please promise me you will not kill all the Pandavas, you will the other 5 brothers. Then Karna promised her, I'll kill only one brother, one person, so that you are still 5 children. But now his status changed. Earlier he was feeling inferior. I'm a lower caste. Now I have become Kshatriya, warrior. So now what are the changes happened in Karna? Any physical change? Or suddenly some light came from Karna's body, I am Kshatriya? Nothing. His understanding changed. Earlier he was living with inferiority complex. Now he is feeling confident. So only understanding changes happened. It's not a physical change or a psychological change or a change in the perception. Right? Atma Jnana belongs to this category. When you realize your Jiva is Brahman, there's nothing physically happens. No perception change happens. There's a deep peace. Earlier we are restless, finding disturbed. So now you are finding peaceful. So the realization of the self, Atma Jnana, is like Karna understanding he is a Kshatriya. So if we read so many spiritual books, we read here and there so many things, then we start getting illusion that, oh, enlightenment means something has happened, something dramatically has happened, some status change has happened. We are always looking for experience. Any experience is domain of Maya, and every experience is temporary. So enlightenment cannot be, liberation cannot be an experience, new experience. Liberation or Atma Jnana is change or a clarity. Where the clarity comes, not in Atma, in the Buddhi, intellect. So this is like in in South Kannada, there's a game, there's a play, drama, whole night drama called Yakshagana. It starts at 6 o'clock in the night, evening, and goes up to early morning, 6 o'clock. So there is a Yakshagana called Devi Mahatme, where a person plays the role of Devi. And there are demons, Chanda, Munda, then Mahishasura, all those demons are there. In Devi Mahatme, Chanda, Munda has to be killed by Devi. So the person who plays the role of a Devi, right from 6 o'clock in the night to early morning, he keeps on thinking he is a Devi. Okay. So early morning, he starts believing he is a Devi. Okay. So then he has to kill Chanda Munda in the drama, not real killing. But he feels that Chanda Munda are real demons. He wants to kill them. So he takes a sword and starts chasing these people. This is called, he is possessed by Devi. He starts thinking he is a Devi. And the people who are playing the role of Chanda Munda or demons are real demons. He wants to really kill them. He has forgotten it's a drama. It's called Avesha, or being possessed by the character. Okay. Then what will happen? People, they know this situation. So they catch hold of Devi. They'll take, there's some pumpkins are kept. So they make the Devi to cut the pumpkin. The pumpkin, they'll put a kumkum, that the red colored powder. So the pumpkin red color comes, blood. Oh, then Devi starts understanding, oh, it's pumpkin. Now the Avesha has gone, the possessed Devi gone. Now she understands it's a drama. In 7 to 8 hours, you start becoming possessed by the character. So same thing is happening to Jiva. Using the body, mind, and intellect, or gross body, subtle body, causal body, is the character, is the what we call as the dress. The Jiva wears the dress. In the morning, you get up. You wear the dress called body. Then you are entering into a drama called the world. So you will become wife, you will become husband, you will become whatever. So you forget that you are a Jiva or Atma. You get involved in the drama called life. You get possessed by the character you are playing. I'm the woman, I'm the husband, I'm the wife. And you are ready to kill somebody also if you have a sword on the hand. Okay. Then morning hope, morning drama goes. Suddenly you go to sleep. In sleep, another drama starts, another body and mind, another world, another family. So many drama starts. There also you believe the drama is true and you get involved in that drama. And then you go to deep sleep. In deep sleep, the drama is not there. It's like an interval in a movie. There's no dress. So what we don't realize that waking state, dream state, deep sleep state is nothing but wearing a dress called gross body, subtle body, causal body. We get involved with the body. We start becoming one with the body. This identification is called adhyasa, superimposition. I forget that I am the Atma. So this ignorance goes. Nothing has happened to you. The character will never become the body. The jiva will never become the body. Okay, then next sutra. Om Mukta Pratijnanat 535. So Mukta means liberated. Pratijnanat from the premise. So what happens to him? He doesn't get a new status. Okay, he attains his own real nature. Because be carefully read what Upanishad says. Before coming to the sentence, he rises from the body and merges with the light. What he said is the characteristic of Paramatma is said. So he will attain, he will realize he is Paramatma. The Paramatma characteristic is already told in the Upanishad earlier. What is his real nature? Paramatma is already defined. So this comes from the Upanishad Vakya, Upanishad story. Okay. So what is asked here is, he is saying, if there's no change in status, bondage and liberation is same. Why will somebody do something? Okay. So that's where you have to understand. Before saying he is liberated, the characteristic Paramatma, which is your true nature, is defined, told. What is that Paramatma means? So that true nature of Paramatma is explained like this. Self or Paramatma is free from evil, free from old age, free from death, free from suffering, grief, free from hunger and thirst, whose desire is real, is the real, whose thought is the real, he should be sought. Him one should desire to understand. That means Jiva has to desire, understand Paramatma. I am Paramatma. He who has found out this and understands that self, he obtains all worlds and all desires. Thus spake Prajapati. So, chapter 7th and 8th chapter of Upanishad begins with the Pragapati teaching. So don't see, the question is, after liberation, he will attain something. He's not attaining something new. He will understand he is Paramatma, whose nature is this. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm pure consciousness. Nanu, nanembudu, nanalla, ideha, manabuddhi, nanalla, Sachidanandatma, Shivanannani, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. This understanding is there. For whom? Jiva. This understanding, what is the nature of Paramatma? That's my nature. Tat means Paramatma. Paramatma's nature is defined. Atma, your nature is Sakshi. So Sakshi is Paramatma, is defined. So he will realize he is Paramatma. He doesn't get any new status. Like Arjuna, Karna realized that he is a Kshatriya. So now this comes from the Chandogya Upanishad. We have to listen to the story of Chandogya Upanishad to understand this teaching properly. Devendra and Asurendra, the king of gods and king of demons, go to Brahmaji for teaching. Prajapati or Brahmaji for teaching. So Brahmaji says, work for 12 years in my ashram, do karma yoga, service, then I'll teach you Atma Jnana. So they did 12 years for teaching. Then both Asurendra and Devendra go to Brahmaji, the Guru Brahmaji, Brahaspati Acharya. So the Brahaspati Acharya says, come, he will take them to a lake. Okay. And shows that lake is very, very serene. You can see the reflection like a mirror. Those days they didn't have mirror. You have to see the reflection in the water. So he says, see who is there. Correct? One who sees is called Akshi Purusha. One who sees is called Akshi Purusha. That Akshi Purusha is Paramatma. That one who sees is called Akshi Purusha. Akshi Purusha is Paramatma. You are that Paramatma. Listening, that Akshi Purusha means one who sees. So that's why one who sees, Akshi Purusha is God Vishwa, the one who is identified with the physical body. Consciousness identified with the physical body. So that Akshi Purusha is Brahman. Akshi Purusha is Paramatma. So Asurendra is very happy. I found Paramatma. This body is Paramatma. I am the body. So he says, thank you, Guruji. He does namaskar to Brahaspati Acharya and goes. And goes to his kingdom and tell all demons, what? Body is Atma, body is Paramatma. Enjoy your body. Be happy. Eat, drink, be merry. Okay? Because body is God, body is Paramatma. Devendra gets a doubt. How can this body be Paramatma? Devendra didn't understand the teaching. How can the Akshi Purusha, Akshi means eyes. Because in waking state, we look through, our eyes are active. Physical eyes, sense organs are active. It's called Akshi Purusha. He is also called Vishwa because we see the entire world. The Jiva identified with the gross body is called Vishwa, or it's called Akshi Purusha in Upanishad. So Indra is not clear how Akshi Purusha can be Brahman. Because body becomes old, body dies. Brahman is not, doesn't become old. There's no old age, as you told earlier. There's no suffering. Body has a suffering, body has a pain. So how can there be Brahman? So what has happened? The body has a consciousness. Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. The body is matter, physical. The consciousness is reflected. The reflected consciousness and body has to be separated out. The consciousness is Paramatma, Akshi Purusha. Purusha means consciousness. So matter and consciousness you have to separate out. How you can separate out? You cannot separate out physically. You can separate out only logically. How do you separate logically matter and consciousness? So my body is conscious. If there's a pain, I'm aware there's a pain. The knowing that knowing is there. That awareness is consciousness. The pain comes, pleasure comes, but awareness doesn't change. Right? There's a pain in the body. Oh, I know there's a pain. No. There's some nice massage is done. I know there's a pleasure. So the pleasure and pain belong to the body, but I know belongs to Atma, the knowing principle. That's the light, that's awareness. So Indra is not able to separate out this, the knowing principle from the experience of the body. The experience you have to separate from the knowing principle. Knowing principle is Atma. So he's not able to separate it. He says, I didn't understand. Akshi Purusha is Brahman. Purusha means consciousness. Akshi means eyes, or it's called Vishwa. The gross body, consciousness in the gross body is Brahman. Correct only. But Indra is not able to separate out consciousness and the body. So then he will do some service for another 12 years. Okay, Karma Yoga. So then he comes. Then the Brahaspati Acharya Guru says, Swapna Purusha is Brahman. Swapna Purusha, one who is in the dream, is Brahman. Purusha means consciousness. So dream, I have a dream body. Indra says, bigger problem. Many times in the dream, I have nightmares. I feel that asuras are coming and attacking me. So how can dream body be Brahman? Right? Brahman has no fear. Brahman has no problems. How can the dream body, Swapna Purusha, be Brahman? Because he is not able to separate out the Purusha, consciousness, from the body, subtle body. So, in the dream also, there is a fear, there is a happiness, there is unhappiness. The experiences changes, but the experience, knowing of the experience doesn't change. The knower, knowing principle. The knowing principle is a Purusha, consciousness. Everything what changes is the matter. So he is not able to separate out. So the Akshi Purusha, or now the Sapna Purusha, the dream body, is called Taijasa, Taijasa Jivatma. So Taijasa Jivatma is Brahman, provided you separate out consciousness from the matter, knowing principle from the matter. The knowing principle is Sakshi, Sakshi is Sat, Brahman. So then he works for another couple of years, another 12 years of service, Karma Yoga. So then he comes. Then he says, then in deep sleep, whoever is there, that deep sleep Purusha is called Sukta Purusha. Sukta means Sukta. Somebody who is enjoying. That Purusha is called Pratna Jivatma. Okay. So Pratna Jivatma is Brahman. Indra says, I don't even know I exist in dreams, deep sleep state. I don't know I exist in deep sleep state. Okay. So then Brahmasutras Acharya, the consciousness in deep sleep state is the knowing principle. In that consciousness, there's nothing exists, is eliminated. So there's a bliss is eliminated. So now you don't know anything in the deep sleep state. What is there in the deep sleep state? Nothing is there. So you know there's nothing in the deep sleep state. This knowing is there. So in my hand, there's a pot. Okay. So what is there in my hand now? Nothing. So nothing is there is a knowledge. And the knowing principle is there which eliminates that knowledge. Knowing principle eliminates the knowledge called nothing is there. So when you wake up from the deep sleep, you say, I was blissful. I had a very blissful sleep. So there is the experience. Did you exist in deep sleep? Yes, I exist in deep sleep. That's called existence, is called Sat. Are you aware of in deep sleep? Yes, I was aware that there is nothing. Chit. Are you blissful in deep sleep? Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda is there in deep sleep. Your innermost reality in deep sleep is called Atma. It's called Sakshi. So the Pradna, what you call yourself, is nothing but Sakshi. So then what you call as Taijasa, separate out the body from that Taijasa, then what is there is Sakshi. In Swapna, dream state, separate out from the body, then what is there is Sakshi. The Sakshi or the Atma is the only reality. That Atma is Brahman, Sat. Sat and Chit cannot be separated out. So the body is the container. Okay. The consciousness is there. That is Paramatma. Gross body, subtle body, causal body. Pradna, Taijasa, or Vishwa. You are not you. Or what you call as Akshi Purusha, Swapna Purusha, or Sukta Purusha. You are not. So this is the teaching which is given to Indra. So Indra is very happy. Indra gets a clarity. So Atma Dhyana is about clarity. Clarity logically separating out. He becomes free. He becomes liberated. So this is the story we have to understand in the Chandogya Upanishad to understand the background of teaching. So Devendra and Asurendra go to Brahmaji or Brahmasutras Acharya. So the teaching is given for waker. You are not the waker. You are not the Akshi Purusha or you are not the Vishwa. Means separate out the body of the waker, gross body from the waker. Then consciousness is Brahman. Consciousness is knowing principle. Knowing principle doesn't change. So dreamer is called Swapna Purusha or Taijasa. Separate out the body of dreamer and consciousness is Brahman or Paramatma. Deep sleep, the body of deep sleep, somebody who is there ignorant is called Pradna. So that you separate out, knowing principle you separate out, knowing principle is Brahma, Atma, Sakshi. You are that. So this is the teaching for Indra. That means you are not Vishwa, you are not Taijasa, you are not Pradna. You are not the Akshi Purusha, you are not the Swapna Purusha, you are not the Pradna. The Purusha in you, consciousness is in Brahman. There's the teaching. So this I want to show you the example. So you consider our body as a glass. The body as a glass. So there's a water in the body. The water in the body is called mind. Okay. This Ishvara Sakshi or Brahman is their all pervading reality. Like space is everywhere. The space is in this room also. Consciousness is everywhere. Awareness is everywhere. That's called Ishvara Sakshi. So the awareness within this bottle, within this glass, is called Jiva Sakshi. The Sakshi of the Jiva. Why? Because it is within this glass. The Jiva Sakshi is not separate from Ishvara Sakshi, but apparently separate. Not really. Logically, not apparently separate, not really separate. So like space inside my house is my house, will say. Space outside is street. Space is same. But logically I separate out. The logical separation called Jiva Sakshi. Okay. So the Jiva Sakshi is reflected in the mind. The reflection in the mind is called Chidabhasa. That's called Jiva. Chidabhasa identifies with the intellect. Chidabhasa is called Vishishta Chaitanya. Jiva Sakshi is called Upahita Chaitanya, the technical terms. So now, Jiva Sakshi in you and Jiva Sakshi in me appears to be different. Because space in my house and space in your house appears to be different. They're not different. Space is not different. Only conditioning walls appear to be different. Understand? So that way, Jiva Sakshi or Atma in me, in Atma in you appear to be different, apparently. Because they're conditioned by my body, my gross body, or conditioned by your body. But the space is not really conditioned by body. The unconditioned space is called Ishvara Sakshi. Unconditioned is called Ishvara Sakshi. It's all pervading. Okay. So this guy who is Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, identifies with the mind, identifies with the intellect, and says, I am the intellect. That becomes the Jiva. So then it's identify the intellect, then it will identify the mind, and it will identify the body. I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. That three identification happens for the Chidabhasa. So the Chidabhasa has to understand, I am the Sakshi, I am Jiva Sakshi. Jiva Sakshi is Ishvara Sakshi. All pervading reality. This understanding is called Jnana. So now this is a clarity. It's not by breaking the body, breaking the glass, or removing the water from the glass. It's not possible. So this I will tell in another way. There's a gross body, physical body. There's a subtle body, mind, and there's a causal body which is there and deep sleep state. What eliminates the gross body, subtle body, causal body is called Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. And what is eliminating the body is called Jiva Sakshi. Chidabhasa reflection, yeah. Reflection is not different from the original. The original also is there, all pervading. Right? So reflection is Chidabhasa. Okay. So now this consciousness, Jiva Sakshi, is same as Ishvara Sakshi. The space inside my house is the outer space also. The outer space is totality space, Ishvara Sakshi. So what is the understanding required? Who has the ignorance? Who has a problem? Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, identifies with the body, mind, and intellect. This identification is called ego. Self-realization means I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm Sakshi. Now, who is saying I here? Who is saying the I here? What is this real I? Please tell me, what is the real I? Real I is combination of Ishvara Sakshi, Jiva Sakshi, and Chidabhasa. Because consciousness is I. Unconsciousness cannot say I. Body cannot say I. The consciousness is Ishvara Sakshi, Jiva Sakshi, and Chidabhasa should be totally as I. But Chidabhasa doesn't understand there's a Jiva Sakshi and Ishvara Sakshi. It sees body and says body is I. It forgets Jiva Sakshi, Ishvara Sakshi. Three things are there. Ishvara Sakshi, it's all one reality. Jiva Sakshi, Ishvara Sakshi, Chidabhasa. It forgets that one reality. When you use the word I is used for consciousness. Consciousness means Chidabhasa, Jiva Sakshi, Ishvara Sakshi. One reality. But the word I is used confusingly for body, mind, and intellect. Vishwa, Kaisa, Prajna. That confusion is removed through clarity. Understanding, separate out the body from consciousness. The known from the knowing. This is what called Drak Drishya Viveka. Known is Amaya. Knower is Atma. Real knower is Atma. So when you separate out, then Chidabhasa, Jiva Sakshi, and Ishvara Sakshi, one reality. I am that Brahman. So to know that I am Jiva Sakshi is called Atma Darshana, and Jiva Sakshi is total reality is called Ishvara Sakshi, the Brahman. Brahman, the Jiva Atma Darshana, Brahma Darshana. Next. Atma Prakaranat Om. 536. Okay. So now the Purvapakshi is coming with another objection. He merges with the light. He said that merges with the light now. Huh? So Atma Prakaranat means the light is attained by Supreme Jiva is nothing but self, Atma. Is the light of the self, not physical light. So Purvapakshi is coming and saying Jiva worships with Param Jyoti. Supreme light, it says Param Jyoti. How can Jiva get mukti? If you see the world, the Param Jyoti is sun only. Sun is the brightest light. Is there any other light either greater than sun? Sun is the brightest object in the universe. So he merges with sun. How can he get liberated? That's the question. Is the question clear? Param Jyoti means supreme light. I'm seeing supreme light. Sun is there now. There's a supreme light. Param Jyoti. Is there any light bigger than sun? No. That's why he merges with sun. He cannot be liberated. How can the Upanishad say that? There's the question. So here the word light is, the word light you have to understand. Light is called Jyoti. There's a light called physical light and non-physical light. Physical light is tube light, candle light, flashlight, sunlight. They're all physical light. Physical light is available to eyes and sense organs. The physical light comes and goes. Sun rises in the morning, sets in the night. Or sun dies also one day. The candle light will blow out. This is called physical light. It's available to physical sense organs and the mind. So Jyoti here in Vedanta is called non-physical light. It's called Atma Jyoti, the light of self, awareness, the knowing principle. The knowing principle does not come and go. It's always there. So there's light in the house. I know. There's darkness in the house. I know. I know doesn't change. The knowing principle is called Atma Jyoti. There's cloud outside. I know. There's sunlight outside. I know. The I know is called Atma Jyoti. So Upanishad is speaking of not a physical light. Param Jyoti means Atma Jyoti. That's why you'll get mukti. Atma is Paramatma. So here the word Jyoti is the Jyoti light. People are confusing because many times people say he sat in meditation, then he saw a light and he became enlightened. So then people start visualizing a light. Enlightenment, some light has to come to mind. Right? So we'll start imagining, oh, one day I saw a light, bright light, I saw Atma. So we'll start imagining a physical light, our mental light. The light here is the light of awareness, knowing principle. The knowing principle light does not appear. It's the light, illuminating light. Okay. So the words used in teaching many times confuse the light. They don't have any other way of saying. They have to say as light only. And light is used for physical light also in Upanishad. But Param Jyoti is used with supreme light, light of all lights. That's called Brahman. Why light of all lights? The sun is the brightest object. So can I see the sun without the eyes? If there's no eye, I cannot see the sun. So the light of the eyes is greater than the light of sun. The light of the eyes is called awareness, is greater than the light of sun. So eyes are greater than the sun. Then my eye is functioning or not functioning. Who knows? The mind knows. The light of the mind is greater than the light of eyes. So the light of mind is greater than the light of eyes, greater than light of sun. So now mind is, there's thoughts in the mind, there are no thoughts in the mind. There's a pain, there's no pain. So there's I know. I know is the awareness. I know there's a thought in the mind. I know there's no thought in the mind. I know the eyes are paining. I know there's sun. I know there's darkness. That I know doesn't change. The knowing principle doesn't change. The knowledge changes, object changes. The knowing principle is the supreme light. It's called Atma Jyoti or Brahma Jyoti. So sun is physical light. Sun cannot give liberation to you. Sun is called Karya Jyoti. Karya Jyoti means manifest light. Param Jyoti is Karana Jyoti or Brahman, non-physical light. It's Atma Jyoti. So Jyoti in the Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, whenever it's said, it's always because of Param Jyoti, supreme light. Jyotisham Jyoti says Bhagavad Gita, light of all lights. So sunlight is bright, light of eye is better than sunlight, light of mind is better than eyes, light of awareness is better than the mind. So that's why light of awareness is Jyotisham Jyoti, light of all lights, supreme light, Param Jyoti. And that light I am, Param Jyoti. I know, I am aware, does not change. Everything else changes. What is changing is called Maya. The body changes, the mind changes, the intellect changes, sun changes, moon changes. So we should not confuse between the physical light and light of awareness, Atma Jyoti. So now next you read any spiritual book. He sat in meditation, he saw a light, then you start imagining some light. False. That's a physical light, that's a mental light. Here, awareness is the light. Right? So then many times people say, they say, Koti Surya Samaprabha, God is like millions of suns. So then we start imagining, oh, millions of sunlight will come. Some people start imagining something is in light, meditation. In meditation, so much of bright light. They're all mental. They appear and disappear. One who sees that, the seer, the Sakshi, Atma doesn't appear and disappear. That's called Atma Jyoti. Awareness. So that awareness or Atma Jyoti, I am. That's called Param Jyoti. So what is the meaning of Koti Surya Samaprabha? You want to see one sun, you need awareness. If you see crores of suns also, millions of suns also, you need awareness. So awareness is a bigger light. Why it's called light? Suppose that's a candle here. The candle gives a light in the darkness. Some objects are seen. So the light reflects on the object you see. So any object is seen in the light. Even the brightest object called sun is also seen in the awareness. That's why the awareness is the highest light, Param Jyoti. So that's why Atma Jyoti, non-physical light, is called Karana Jyoti. Consciousness is mentioned as Jyoti in Upanishads, many Upanishads. So we should not confuse this Jyoti with the physical light. Atma Jyoti. So why he says, Chandogya Upanishad use the word called Atma. Wherever that Jyoti is mentioned, it uses the word called Atma. So you should not consider physical light. Atma Jyoti you have to consider. Antar Jyotihi, Bahir Jyotihi, Pratyak Jyotihi, Paratpara, Jyotireva Jyotihi, Atma Jyotihi, Shivosmiham. So understand you are the Atma Jyoti, awareness. This is the teaching of Upanishad. Don't confuse that Atma Jyoti with the physical light. So the question, the Purva Pakshi is saying, Jiva Marjasi the Param Jyoti, supreme light. I can see Param Jyoti. Sun is the brightest object. Sun is the Param Jyoti. Jiva Marjasi the sun. So then if you accept Jiva merges with sun, there's nothing called mukti, no? Where can it be mukti? Because sun is an object. So sun is physical light, sun cannot give liberation. That's why sun is called in Karya Prapancha or manifest world. We have to consider Atma Jyoti, non-physical light, it is called Karana Jyoti. So consciousness mentioned in Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, Jyoti is mentioned as Jyoti. Jyoti is not light. People start imagining some light in meditation. I saw this light, that light and all. That's a physical light. Jyoti is Atma Jyoti. Atma Jyoti is Paramatma. It's non-physical light. So why it's non-physical light? Chandogya Upanishad uses the Atma before telling about Jyoti, Paran Jyoti. So it's called Atma Jyoti or Paran Jyoti. Let us sit silently for some time. Close your eyes. Gently become aware of the world around. The sun, moon, they are objects. I'm aware of the objects. The awareness is Atma. The object keeps on changing shape, but awareness does not change the shape. Awareness is constant. That awareness, I exist in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. I am the awareness. Liberation is not a gain. Liberation is recognition of your own nature. Jivatma is one with Paramatma. How do you recognize? Through Jnana. By understanding the meaning of Tattvamasi. Tat means Ishvara, Brahman, existence. The sun is, the moon is, the isness or existence of the universe. Tvam means Jiva. Jiva means Sakshi, Chit, consciousness. Sat and Chit cannot be separated out. I am that Sat, Chit. The Sat, Chit, I am. That is called Ananda, Sachidananda Swarupoham. The light mentioned in Upanishad, Jyoti, is called Paran Jyoti. The Paran Jyoti is nothing but Atma Jyoti, the light of the self, awareness. I am that awareness, the knowing principle, non-physical light, eternal light, light, no birth, no death, no bondage, no liberation. Jivan Mukta. Asatoma, Sadgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma, Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Nanembudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Sachidanandatma Shivananani Shivoham 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 Atmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Satyadarshanam. To know the self is to know God. To know God is to be God. To be God is to know the truth. Antarjyotihi Bahirjyotihi Pratyak Jyotihi Paratpara Jyotireva Jyotihi Swayam Jyotihi Atma Jyotihi Shivosmiham. I am the light of self awareness, Atma Jyoti. I am the light illuminating the world, Jagat Jyoti. I am the light beyond all lights, Paran Jyoti. I am the self-luminous light, Swayam Jyoti, light of love, compassion, and wisdom. Lokaha samastaha Sukino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha Sukino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha Sukino bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Rub both of your hands. Give one to the eyes. Slowly open your eyes. With that, we are concluding this sutra today. There are many. Open your eyes. There are a Light of Self Foundation. YouTube link is there. Website is there. You can subscribe to that. The children program, you can subscribe to. I read links. So any questions are there? You can ask. Anybody has a question?
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Tumba strong dose ಇವತ್ತು.
Very good.
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಸಚ್ಚಿತ್ ಏಕತ್ವ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕರ್ಣದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥವಾಯ್ತು ಅದು.
Very good. Otherwise, we have a lot of imagination. Enlightenment. Jnani means something, some special effect, all those things.
It was a very good example, actually, to understand easily.
Otherwise, we have a lot of imagination about enlightenment, liberation. He sat for meditation, suddenly he saw light. What light? We don't know. So then we start imagining light.
It was nice.
Okay.
I had one more doubt, but you clarified it immediately. So rising from the body anta bantala, first beginning doubt aaytu enadu anta, but you clarified that it is only identification of the dropping the identification of the body again.
Right, dropping the identification of the body. Okay. Anybody else any questions? If there are no questions, we'll close the session today.
ಒಂದು ಆಸೆ ಇತ್ತು ಎನ್ಲೈಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಇವತ್ತು ನಾಳೆ ಅಂತ, ಅದು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರಲ್ಲ.
ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಲೈಟ್ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ. We'll see some light, bright light, sunlight, moonlight.
That illusion is gone now.